Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse Five. Welcome to the Saturday Sit Down. Another exotic locale for you. This is my boyfriend-in-law's lawnmower. He likes to mow lawns for money. Today, got it right here. Slaughterhouse Five. Vonnegut. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this guy? His first major novel, a wild success. No reason why it shouldn't have been. A lot of people call this Vonnegut's. No, not Vonnegut's. A lot of people call this the first post-traumatic stress syndrome book written. A lot of people call this the first post-traumatic stress book written, which is kind of weird because that's not the vibe you get when you first start reading it. When you read the whole thing, it's definitely sci-fi. Not really sci-fi, not weird Dungeons and Dragons fan sci-fi. Normal sci-fi. There's aliens, the Tralfamadorians. That's just from memory. I may have that totally wrong. Does anybody else have a problem with names that authors create and not being able to pronounce them? I never know how to pronounce any names to anything. I don't know. So this deals with aliens and time warps, visiting other planets, constant shifts from when he was married with his children to when he was in war to when he was working as an eyeglass doctor. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the official scientific term for that. Bounce back and forth like this. Pew, 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 like that, bouncing. And those were lasers bouncing off of laser reflective walls, by the way. Is all this time warping and visiting of aliens and such the truth about time and how time really works? The fourth dimension that we can't really see, that Billy Pilgrim, the main character, has discovered? Or is it all just in his head after a plane crash and all the stress from World War II that he was involved in? You don't really know. You kind of got to make that call for yourself. Have you ever heard of the fire bombings of Dresden? Because apparently they happened. More people died in the fire bombings, which was an American attack on civilians, over 130,000 civilians killed, than were murdered in the atomic bomb droppings on Hiroshima. Kind of weird that I'd never heard of it. I'm glad Vonnegut showed me what it was about. I'm a little more enlightened now. And now maybe you are too. Or maybe I'm just dumb and you've always known. Billy Pilgrim was not really a fighter in this book, which is always kind of my war hero. I like the guys who don't really feel like they want to be there. He just always told all his friends to go on without him, but they fought for him, they pushed him through. That seems sort of like how he goes through his whole life. Interesting character. Admirable character? Maybe. But outside of the war zone, when you keep living that way, I'm not sure. This is my second time reading it, and it's still really hard for me to explain what it's about and what happened. When you're reading it, it makes perfect sense. When you try to explain it to somebody else, you can't get it into words. I hope that mystery is enough to convince you to go read it, because this was a real joy. Like, it was really good. Really, really, really good. Like, not even classic good, like, oh, this is a classic, it's gotta be good, but just good. It was good, and it was good. This was also the first book Vonnegut wrote that showed his illustrative side. They're fun. I kind of wish there were more in this one, especially the tombstone. Did you hear that? There's wild animals in here. That was just a bird that flew away. Everybody can read this book and enjoy it. Everyone. My girlfriend, my parents, you, my enemies, Joe, Schmo. He loves it. I don't want to rate it above Catch-22 though, because that's still my favorite war book now so far. This is only my 5th book review, but screw it. I like Catch-22 more, which is why I'm going to stick Slaughterhouse 5 right at a 9. A 9, which is really good. Like, I almost want to swear there when I say how good it was, but I just can't put it up above Catch-22 because Catch-22 was just even better. Read this book, please. You won't regret it. And read Catch-22. You won't regret that one even more. These are books you have to read to understand. Whoa. I'll see you guys next week with Waiting for Godot. Stoppard, an absurdist play. If you haven't heard of it, get ready for this review because this play is sweet.